Well, it's a new month. That means new Game Pass games coming and going. We've got new PlayStation Plus games and news from Nintendo. Even some accidental news regarding sales. And the Xbox 360 got an update. That's weird. So, yeah, let's just jump into the game news. Welcome back to the channel. Let's hop right in with Game Pass updates. We've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 launching into Game Pass. I still would like them to add Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. If they have, I've totally missed it. But 3 and 4 are launching day one in Game Pass is cool. We got Minami Lane, whatever that is. Looks like it's got a Tanuki in it. That looks cool. Ultimate Chicken Horse, which I feel like was in Game Pass. High on Life, which I definitely know was in Game Pass. And The Ascent, which also was in Game Pass previously. So that's weird, but cool. Welcome back to Game Pass, I suppose. And then two games I was looking forward to hitting the service a long time ago. It's cool that they're hitting now. Legend of Mana and Trials of Mana hitting on console, which is great. I have been wanting to play both of these since they released on Xbox. So very cool. It looks like a good month just overall. Now this is just the first wave. We'll get an update probably in like a week and a half, 2 weeks for the rest of the month. I wish they would put a separate graphic for stuff leaving, but they haven't, and I don't have it pulled up, so I guess we're not going to talk about what's going out of Game Pass. Yeah, good start to the month. We also have PlayStation Plus is adding Diablo 4, which is an Xbox game, so cool, I guess. King of Fighters and Jusant, I don't know how to say it, but that's also there. It's also the 15th anniversary of PlayStation Plus, so congrats to them for being around for 15 years. You know, I don't know that there's anything special going on as far as sales or membership deals, but it is cool nonetheless. All right, and then we got from Nintendo, we've got Super Mario Strikers hitting the Switch Online service on July 3rd. So that's in a couple of days. That's cool. Mario Strikers is the soccer / European football. I'm sorry, I have to specify I'm American. Anyway, European football Mario game, and then they did a sequel on the Wii, I believe. But this is cool because, I mean, like, if you've never played this game, which I assume most people haven't, I know I haven't, I might check this out. I mean, you'll be able to play online. It's another GameCube game. Maybe not one I was expecting, but still, I mean, it's more free games in the service, so that's cool. And like I said, I might check it out. Looks good. But while we're on the subject of Nintendo, Switch Online is increasing prices up to 20% in Canada. Canadian residents will have to start forking out more for certain Nintendo Switch consoles and Switch Online due to new price increases, which see certain memberships increasing by 20%. That's over on Insider Gaming from Andrew Heighton. It was only a handful of days ago we learned about Canada increasing Switch prices, which we will talk about very soon. Thankfully, this doesn't apply to the Switch 2, but if you've yet to claim the Switch in Canada, you need to pay more. Anyone looking to acquire Switch Online will be further out of pocket after the NSO price increases were revealed. So Canada facing more expensive Nintendo Switch consoles and online prices. Let's just get to the changes, right? Switch Online prices are going up. Individual membership, 1 month is going from $5 to $6. I'm assuming this is all Canadian dollars and not like converted back to US dollars for some reason. 3 months is going from $10 to $12. 12 months is going from 25 to 30, so a $5 increase, and then the family membership goes up from 44 to 49.99. Okay, and then the expansion pack individual, which you can only buy in year increments, $63.99 to $69.99, and then the family is going from $99.99 to $109.99, which is definitely Canadian because mine is like 80 something after taxes or whatever, and I am in the US. So I think that brings it more in line with what the service cost in US dollars. If I'm doing the conversions right, that's pretty close to the $80. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning like is for this. It's just kind of out of nowhere. But I mean, it's still the cheapest online service you can subscribe to, even in Canadian money. Because I believe Xbox is almost $180 a year, $200 a year, And PS Plus, their top tier, is pushing that as well. And I say that 180, that's for like Game Pass Ultimate. The cheapest Game Pass is maybe 70, 80, almost $90 a year. I mean, still really close. That's just off the top of my head. I don't have those figures in front of me, and why would I? But yeah, odd that they are changing the pricing, but it's just Canada, which is even weirder. But again, I think they're just bringing that pricing more in line with the US dollar cost and maybe a blanket North American price, right? Who knows? There's got to be a reason for it. But speaking of price increases, Nintendo's also raising the Switch prices in Canada. We learned Monday. Nintendo's set to change the price of the Switch, making it more expensive in Canada. Specifically the Switch 1 for some reason. This is from Mike Straw, again over at Insider Gaming. The company announced on Monday that based on market conditions, a number of products will see a price change in the country. These products include the Nintendo Switch OLED model, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch Lite, physical and digital Nintendo Switch games, and even Nintendo Switch accessories. The Switch 2 won't be impacted by the upcoming changes, neither will Switch 2 games or accessories. Exact pricing wasn't revealed with the announcement. However, Nintendo says that will be shared on August 1st via the Nintendo Canada website. The news of the price changes come after Donald Trump said that he was cutting off all trade talks with Canada. There you have it. The latest comments seem to be enough to force the change for Nintendo. This isn't the first time Nintendo has made price changes to its hardware in recent months. Just days before the Switch 2 pre-orders were set to open in the US and Canada, Nintendo delayed them and announced a jump in price for a number of accessories. The company also follows both Microsoft and Sony, announcing price increases for its Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 systems, respectively. For Microsoft, the changes took place globally. For Sony, however, they were limited to certain regions for the time being. So, I guess whatever trade negotiations were happening affected consumer electronics. Maybe that's not the only thing being affected. It's weird that it's the Switch 1 and not the Switch 2 as well. And you kind of figure Switch 1 retail units would start going down in price to move them, because retailers are going to want to clear that to make room for Switch 2s in the coming holiday season. So that brings us all back to what is happening in Canada. I'm still not clear, but that's what we have. And I don't know. It just really sucks, because like getting a Switch 1, even with all the greatness and smoothness of the performance of the Switch 2 and the like more powerful console, if you don't have anything and you want to play Nintendo games, the Switch 1 is still a great purchase right now. Switch 2 is very compelling, but you can play a ton of games on it. So it going up in price is just odd, but I guess that's where we are. It's 2025, y'all. Anyway, let's move on. All right, more Nintendo news. This is from VGC. Nintendo confirms Donkey Kong Bonanza's developer is the same team as Super Mario Odyssey. This is from Andy Robinson. But Nintendo won't confirm DK's director or any key personnel. So it's the same team, although it did not mention them by name. This seemingly confirms Nintendo EPD Tokyo as the developer of Bonanza. The news was confirmed during a media preview event for the Switch 2 game, in which Nintendo also said the studio behind the game is based in Tokyo. Asked for clarification, Nintendo would not confirm whether the same staff behind Odyssey were working on DK, or if it was a new group within the same company. Neither would it confirm the director of the game. VGC has asked for clarification on what this means for future 3D Mario games, and will update the story when we receive a response. So it's cool that they're doing this. Like, I think it's, it makes sense that this would be their next step. You can see a lot of the similarities between Mario Odyssey and DK Bananza. The last all-new 3D Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, was released nearly 8 years ago. If Bonanza is indeed developed by the Odyssey team, fans might have to wait even longer for the mascot's next adventure. Not necessarily. The main creative leads of modern 3D Mario games, director Kenta Motokura, and producers Yoshiaki Koizumi and Koichi Hayashida, haven't appeared in the credits for an all-new EPD title since Odyssey in 2017. Although Hayashida contributed design to 2023 Super Mario Wonder. Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury plus Bowser's Fury, an expanded Wii U port released in 2021 and developed in collaboration with 1UP Studio and NST, features generic staff credits listed in alphabetical order with no job titles. So, yeah, Bonanza comes out very soon, and I believe should start seeing previews rolling out across all the major news outlets. I will be getting the game hopefully at launch, but maybe within that first week. But yeah, it's looking good. It's cool that the Mario Odyssey team has worked on it, and it makes sense that this would be their next game. Still weird we didn't get like a mainline Mario game as a launch title on the Switch. Switch 2, but we didn't on the Switch either. So that's fine. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, cool. I like that. I like knowing kind of what teams have been working on the game, and that we kind of assumed that with how this game was looking. And again, some of the design elements just carry over from Odyssey. Some of the menus look very similar. Some of the just elements in the world look similar. So it's like, okay, are we really surprised by this? We shouldn't be, but maybe we are. All right, let's move on. All right, here we go from Destructoid, who I have not featured on the Game News Show, so that's cool. Adam Newell writes, Switch 2 appears to have sold 5 million consoles worldwide in a single month. The Switch 2 appears to have sold 5 million units worldwide in June, according to Nintendo's official finance site, which is quite staggering. The image showcasing sales has since been taken down, which could allude to either a Nintendo mistake or projected sales, but was caught before the update. When you checked out Nintendo's official finance website and clicked quarterly total console sales in June 2025, it included 1 million Nintendo Switch consoles and a staggering 5 million Switch 2 consoles to make 6 million total console sales for that month across the board for Nintendo. For comparison, the PS5 was able to sell 3.4 million units in the first 4 weeks of releasing during the COVID-19 pandemic. The first month of sales of the Xbox Series X was not publicly revealed by Microsoft. The Switch also sold 15 million units in its first year, so the Switch 2 was able to sell a third of the Switch's first year sales in a single month. And there's the graphic that was taken down. You see Switch 2 obviously shows up in red, Switch 1 in yellow. Big difference. To put that number into perspective, Nintendo has been able to sell over 1/3 of Wii U's lifetime sales in a month. The Wii U sold 13.56 million units by the end of its lifetime, and if these figures are to be believed, the Switch 2 could outsell the Wii U in 3 months if these sales patterns continue and stock remains regularly available, which makes sense. The million Switch 1 sales would also put the Nintendo Switch within 1 million more sales from Nintendo DS's lifetime sales, 154.02 million versus the 153.12 Switch sales. That's actually really crazy, but it's still far away from the PS2's record of lifetime sales of over 160 million units. The Switch 2 has also now outsold the Stream Deck, with sales of portable console estimated to be around 4 million units worldwide for both versions of the system. Again, not surprising, Nintendo's main console would outsell a niche device. You know? Because one, Nintendo, and two, while the Steam Deck, not the Stream Deck, you wrote Stream Deck, oh, you content creator, you. The Steam Deck is targeted towards PC gamers who want a portable PC, but most of them already have a solid Steam library. Whereas the Switch 2 is like, hey, we're Nintendo, buy our thing. See, back to the Switch 2 though. The sales are wild. We're talking about a console that launched within a backdrop of tariffs from the US government, and with a singular Nintendo launch title in Mario Kart World. July sees the launch of Donkey Kong Bonanza, and there are a slew of new Switch 2 games scheduled for the end of the year that could push console sales further as we get closer to the holiday season, including the launch of Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4. It's a huge win for Nintendo, and if momentum continues, there's no telling where the Switch 2 will be a year from now due to its strong first-year lineup of games, which is great. Hopefully Metroid Prime 4 gets an actual release date soon. Maybe that's August, September, and then ZA being in October. That would make sense, right? But those sales numbers are wild. Not that I'm affected by them. I don't have any stock in Nintendo, but it's crazy to think that the Switch 2 sold so much in that first month. And they had that many on hand, where you've come out of 2020 where you couldn't get a console off the shelf unless it was a Switch 1. They had those plenty because those had already been out a couple years. But the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and then the Series X and S were just impossible to get in stores. People were buying up stuff left and right because we had nothing to do, right? We were all home. And then yeah, now it's like stuff's on the shelf, but like the Switch 2 is just dominating. So it's cool to see Nintendo doing well with their hardware. Yeah, it just means longer support and more games coming our way, hopefully. All right, let's move on. All right, in a weird update I didn't expect to see last week, the Xbox 360 received an update 20 years after launch. Unusual, right? Sam Sepiol from Insider Gaming writes, Xbox 360, a console that's almost 2 decades old now, has just received a new dashboard update in 2025. The 360 was released in late 2005 and quickly became one of the most popular consoles out there. However, the 360 marketplace was officially shut down in July 24, preventing players from purchasing any additional games, DLC, or other content for the system. Many would have thought that would be the end for the console, but surprisingly, the 360 received an update in 25. Spotted by True Achievements, a post on the Xbox 360 subreddit reveals the Xbox 360's new dashboard update. Through the latest update, players will see that the game thumbnails look much better. Earlier, the key art for these games would look stretched out and distorted. Now it fits perfectly in the window. It only took 20 years, guys. Interestingly, the 360 dashboard update has added new ads to the home screen, both of which point towards console upgrades. The first ad features images of the Xbox One S, Series X, and Xbox Series S. The following ad is a barcode with the words Experience Next Gen Performance Upgrade Today. There's a picture. That's so weird, right? It's not an Xbox One S. But it's very odd to see. Owners of the 360 will likely be pleased with the update, as the console's dashboard appears to be looking a bit cleaner. In other news, there were rumors about an Xbox 360 emulator recently, but those have been denied. Well, of course they've been denied. What are your thoughts on a thing receiving an update? Now, I don't know what, I mean, they may have patched some vulnerability or something. The 360 remains a solid, moddable system if you're into that kind of thing. But other things they updated besides the game image in the thumbnail there, and then advertising next-gen performance, were there that many people? I mean, my father-in-law is still on an Xbox 360, but are there that many people still playing on an Xbox 360 regularly enough that this is justified? It looks like it. Or maybe they just see that many online, but they're all modded and playing, they're just all Plex devices or something. Who knows? But weird. Did not expect that. Did not have the 360 receiving an update on my 2025 bingo card. Anybody else? I don't know. All right, moving on. We got some stuff from Halo Waypoint. I haven't talked about Halo in a minute. But Halo Studios has posted an article, Road to Halo World Championships 2025. And in this write-up, they talk about, the upcoming Halo World Championships and tickets, rumors, and speculation. So over the past few weeks, there's been a fair amount of speculation about when and where more details might emerge about any of the multiple projects Halo Studios is actively working on. We don't usually comment on such matters, but this time we want to enter the chat and share a little more perspective for Halo fans who might be on the fence about whether to attend this year's event. Last year at Halo World Championships, we premiered a new Dawn, where we talked about the switch to Unreal Engine, gave you a behind-the-scenes look at Project Foundry, and debuted our evolution to Halo Studios as we enter a new chapter for Halo. For us, a new Dawn was just beginning. At this year's Halo World Championships, we look forward to continuing conversation. Speculation is always fun, but if you want the official scoop on what Halo Studios has been working on, you don't want to miss this year's Halo World Championship. Really hope you'll join us in Seattle this October. So basically, an announcement of an announcement. They'll show us something. We just don't know what it is yet. But it's nice to see Halo Studios actually saying something instead of just leaving us hanging. Hopefully, it's, obviously it'd be some kind of new game, but I just hope it's what we want or what we expect. I don't know. Halo's been kind of on the downslope for me over the last couple of years. I haven't touched the game. I couldn't tell you the last time, and it's just because I'm not into Halo Infinite as much as I want to be. It's a great game. Technically, it's all there. It didn't stick with me. The marketplace, the monetization, the battle passes are great because they don't expire. If you buy it, you have it. Now they're operations. They don't do like the season passes or whatever. they've done a lot to like improve it. It's just the core game itself hasn't stuck with me like classic Halo has. And it's just a shame. I want them to do new stuff, but not deviate so far from the stuff we liked from the previous games. And that's a tough spot to be in, but they kind of worked themselves into that by continually adding stuff that was like consistent from the old games. And then the new experimental stuff really wasn't great, right? So I think Halo Infinite is the best offering for Halo multiplayer in a long time, minus the monetization and cosmetics. Just on a technical level, it's great. But I'm hoping to see something new. Maybe the Halo VR will show up. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. October, right? We'll look forward to October. All right, let's move on. All right, in our last article, interesting take regarding Xbox hardware, considering we just got the announcements from Microsoft and AMD about a multi-year contract to develop the next Xbox hardware. But VGC, Andy Robinson writes up this article, I think Xbox hardware is dead, says Microsoft gaming veteran. Founding member of the Xbox team questions Microsoft's multi-platform game strategy. One of the founding members of the Xbox team has questioned Microsoft's multi-platform gaming strategy and said they believe the Xbox hardware business is effectively dead. Microsoft left many pondering the future of Xbox hardware this month following the announcement of multiple partnerships with external hardware companies such as the ROG Xbox Ally, MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition, and a multi-year deal with AMD. Again, those are all Xbox hardware things, and so it's weird that, you'd think it's dead. But let's read on and see what they say. The ROG Xbox Ally in particular hints at the potential direction of travel for Xbox, since it runs Windows and is effectively a portable PC that can even run games purchased from external Xbox stores, external stores such as Steam. The handheld is the subject of the latest video from Laura Fryer, one of Microsoft Game Studios' first employees, who now creates YouTube videos commenting on issues in the gaming industry. I mean, you worked at Microsoft. You probably have a lot to say. During her lengthy Microsoft career, Fryer shipped numerous games as a producer, including the original Gears of War games, and was the director of the Xbox Advanced Technology Group. After leaving Microsoft in the late 2000s, she was general manager of WB Games Seattle and later Epic Games Seattle. Fryer's latest video ponders the future of Microsoft's Xbox business, with the platform holder championing a new cross-platform strategy under its Xbox Anywhere marketing, and explains why she's concerned it could represent the start of a slow exit from the gaming hardware business for Microsoft. I haven't watched this video. I have no idea what's in it. In the video, Fryer calls the Xbox Anywhere message just marketing and style with no substance, and says she believes the ROG Xbox Ally, as essentially one of Asus's portable PCs rebranded, offers little attraction to consumers. Well, it is a niche device. I've said as much. I agree. The everyman isn't going to buy one of these. They're going to be really expensive. Obviously, as one of the founding members of the Xbox team, I'm not pleased with where things are today. I don't love watching all of that value that I helped create slowly get eroded away. I understand that sentiment. I'm sad because, from my perspective, it looks like Xbox has no desire or literally can't ship hardware anymore. So this ROG Ally partnership is about a slow exit from the hardware business completely. I don't think so. She continued, personally, I think Xbox hardware is dead. The plan appears to be just drive everybody to Gamepass, and let's be clear, it has a lot of value. I'm thinking that might be why they decided to charge $80 for Outer Worlds 2. And here's the thing, maybe it'll work. Xbox has a deep portfolio. The remake of Oblivion was obviously a huge success, and they can continue to outsource that work to external companies and make a lot of money releasing their older games. Older games from an era when Xbox knew how to build them. But what is the long-term plan? Where are the new hits? What will make people care about the Xbox 25 years from now? I was excited to see Clockwork Revolution in the showcase. Will something like that be enough? Do they have more? All of those are fair points. I don't think those questions are invalid. Where are the big hits? The house that Halo built, Halo doesn't even hold a candle to what Call of Duty and Fortnite do. Then you have new players in the space, in the extraction shooter area, and then you have games like Splitgate that are just doing really well, and then battle royales just in general, Apex, Fortnite, Warzone are all doing very well. respectively. I mean, they're multi-year games. They've been around a while, and Xbox used to be king of multiplayer. Doesn't even have. I mean, yes, they own Warzone now, but they didn't build that, and their own like first-party franchises. Again, Activision's now included in that, but their own franchises don't even consider that. So it's kind of weird that we're at that point. All right, so she goes on to say, next year marks the 25th anniversary of the Xbox, and I'm sure they will have some big announcements and plans for honoring the milestone. Maybe next year is the year. Maybe next year is the year that the fog will clear and all of us will see the beauty in these latest announcements. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Increasingly, Microsoft has adopted a multi-platform approach for its first-party games, with many titles now releasing for PlayStation 5, close to or alongside their Xbox versions. However, it is committed to releasing a next-gen Xbox console to succeed the Xbox Series X and S. It's possible Xbox's future devices will adopt a similar approach to the ROG Xbox Ally, however, with President Sarah Bond stating this month that Microsoft's gaming arm is working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the number one platform for gaming. Excuse me. At Xbox, our vision is for you to play games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, she said. That's why we're investing in our next generation hardware lineup across console, handheld, PC, cloud, and accessories. So yeah, I understand where this lady's coming from, having worked with Xbox closely and worked on it for a significant portion of her life. As a fan, just seeing the Xbox kind of fall away like it has, it really does stink when you've stuck with it for so long. But I think this new direction opens up gaming to more people. It opens up convenience of PC gaming in a way that hasn't been done. It's been teased, it's been attempted, but hasn't successfully been done before. So I think that's great going forward. I'm just looking forward to see what is next before I say something like Xbox hardware is dead. Maybe it is on the way out. Maybe it comes down to like Alienware, where it used to be its own thing and then Dell purchases it and now it's not really what it used to be, but the branding is still strong, right? And then somebody else can show up and start making hardware, or we just start getting Dell and HP and Razer Xbox devices. Either way, as long as the studios are cranking out games, maybe that doesn't matter anymore. And that's just, I think, the reality of it. But anyway, that does it for this week's Game News Show. Guys, let me know what you think. If you're watching this on YouTube, watch. Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like or dislike on the video. Let me know what you think. Thanks for being here. I think I'm going to go play something. I think we're going to do Fortnite tonight. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for being here. Catch you on the next one. Bye.